Okay, so if you're in tech or even just thinking about jumping in, you've probably felt that little knot in your stomach lately. You hear the chatter, you see the headlines, and you start wondering, did I bet on the right horse here? Well, let's get right into it, because what's really happening is not what you think. I mean, you hear this stuff everywhere, right? It feels like this constant drumbeat of doom and gloom. The market's crashing, AI is coming for your job. It's enough to make anyone think the golden age of tech is over. But here's the real story. The truth is, jobs are just vanishing into thin air. They're changing, they're evolving, and they're doing it at lightning speed. So this isn't about hunkering down and surviving, it's about learning how to adapt. So here's our game plan. We're going to break down what this evolution actually looks like. First, we'll talk about the big shift that's happening. Then, why what you can do matters more than a piece of paper. We'll cover the skills companies are really hiring for, how to take control of your career, and then wrap it all up with a concrete playbook for 2026. All right, let's dive into part one, the big shift. Seriously, the entire landscape of the tech world is being redrawn as we speak. The old rulebook, you can pretty much toss it out the window. And I'm not talking about small adjustments here. The scale of this change is just massive. Check out this number. The World Economic Forum predicts that almost 40% of a worker's core skills are going to have to change by 2030. And the main engine driving all of this? You guessed it, AI. And because of that, a totally new kind of employee is emerging as the gold standard. Companies aren't just looking for someone who can code anymore. They want what we're calling the new hybrid professional. This is someone who can team up with AI, who gets data, but, and this is the crucial part, who can bring that uniquely human problem-solving ability to the table. Which leads us perfectly into our second section, because it all builds on this idea. We're talking about proof over paper. Your portfolio, the stuff you've actually built, is becoming way more valuable than your diploma. You know, for years, that computer science degree was the golden ticket. It was the key that got you in the door. But the game has completely flipped. Technology is just moving way too fast for most university programs to keep up. So now, hiring managers want to see your work, your GitHub profile, packed with real-world projects. That is your new entry ticket. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It really doesn't matter how you got the skills. Could have been a 4-year degree, a 10-week boot camp, or just grinding it out with YouTube tutorials at 2 a.m. What employers care about is one thing. Can you deliver? Can you actually ship a product that works and solves a problem? Let's look at a real-world example. Take Nurul, a career switcher over in Singapore. Now, instead of building some generic calculator app, she built something people in her area would instantly recognize, a clone of the Grab Food cart system. See, this wasn't just a coding exercise. It showed she understood users and could build something people could actually, use. That's the kind of thing that makes a recruiter stop scrolling. So that brings us to our third section, what skills actually matter. If your portfolio is the new resume, what exactly should you be putting in it? What are companies really looking for right now? Well, if you look at the job postings, a clear picture emerges. JavaScript is the undisputed king. It shows up in a whopping 80% of developer job descriptions. And right behind it are the fundamentals that power everything. SQL for databases, knowing your way around cloud platforms, your classic HTML and CSS, and of course, NoSQL databases. But here's the thing, beyond any single language, there's this new meta skill you have to have, AI literacy. And listen, this is not about letting AI do your job for you. It's about using it as a creative partner, like a super smart assistant. The story of Wei Ling is the perfect cautionary tale. She used an AI assistant to breeze through her coding test. But then, in the interview, they asked her to explain the code, and she couldn't. She didn't get the job. You have to be the pilot, not just a passenger. Okay, you've got the skills, you've got the portfolio. Now what? Well, Section 4 is all about a huge mindset shift. You have to start thinking about your career like it's a business, your own business, a business of one. Now, this might sound a little harsh, but it's probably one of the most important things you'll ever learn about your professional life. Your manager? They've got a whole team to worry about. Your coworkers? They're busy with their own goals. You, and only you, are the CEO of your career. You have to be the one making the strategic moves. So, as the CEO of You Incorporated, here's a critical question you need to ask yourself inside any company you work for. Is my team a profit center or a cost center? Because believe me, the answer can make or break your growth potential. Think of it this way. A profit center, like the ads team at Google, directly makes the company cash. Your impact is super clear, which makes it a lot easier to argue for that promotion or a bigger bonus. A cost center, on the other hand, like a legal compliance team, is absolutely necessary, but it doesn't bring in money. It's an expense. Just knowing this difference gives you a huge strategic edge. And when you start targeting those high-impact profit center roles, you're going to run into a hiring process that looks a lot like this. It's a whole gauntlet. It usually starts with a resume screen, then you've got your technical challenges, and finally a big on-site interview loop that tests everything from your coding skills to system design and how well you play with others. Okay, this brings us to our final section, where we're going to tie all of this together into a simple, actionable plan. This is your developer playbook for not just surviving, but actually thriving in 2026 and beyond. So let's recap. Step 1. Build what sells. Stop with the generic tutorial projects and build things that solve actual problems. Step 2. Partner with AI. Learn to use tools like Copilot as your assistant, never as a crutch you can't live without. Step 3. Target profit centers. Be strategic and aim for roles that directly fuel the company's bottom line. And finally, step 4. Own your path. Be proactive. You are in charge. Look, the changes we've talked about today aren't some far-off prediction. This new reality is already here. The old rules are gone. It's a whole new game. So really, there's only one question left to ask yourself. What are you going to build first?